What's up, Barnhill family, and welcome back to the channel.
Yo.
So, Nick, there were two title fights last night, UFC 268, both rematches, and both champions retained their belt. Thug Rose Namajunas. Just how good is this girl?
Next level. You know, now we have to start talking about her as being the official GOAT of her division, just like we have the official GOAT of 125 in Valentina, and then 45 and 35 is Amanda Nunes. And I think if you just go by women of all time, those are your top three.
Yeah.
In that order: Amanda, Valentina, and now Rose. And Rose is so good. You know, we were talking about this kind of being Trevor Whitman's night, right?
Yeah.
Because he was the busiest guy of everybody in the entire MSG. But 3-0, clean sweep. And you have to look at the guys that he's coaching. Kamaru, Usman, Justin Gaethje. Two of the best fighters the world's ever seen. But Rose Namajunas might just be the most technically skilled and advanced fighter that Trevor Whitman has on his team.
Yeah.
I mean, you watch the way she moves. She moves truly like one of the best, lightest on their feet type of strikers I've ever seen in my life, and that includes some of the men. She's very comfortable. Her torso moves freely away from her legs, and she's just very, very comfortable inside the striking realm. I was really, really impressed.
Yeah, Rose is very good, and I think you're absolutely right. I think the female GOAT unequivocally is Amanda Nunes. I think Valentina, the only thing that hurts her status as the GOAT is the fact that she's lost to Amanda twice, but there's just a size thing there. Right. And I think also like there's a size thing between Amanda and Valentina, there would also be a major size advantage between Rose and Valentina. So I don't think that fight will ever materialize, and I certainly don't think it would go Rose's way if it did. But I believe that what you're saying is absolutely true. When you're talking about for their weight division and how they do against the competition that they compete against, her striking is the cleanest of all of Trevor Whitman's athletes. You know, we love Justin Gaethje for his excitement. He's known as the highlight. You don't have a nickname the highlight without making an insane highlight reel. Kamaru is just, a physical absolute monster, and he's, ascertained tremendous power later on in his career. But when you talk about who's the technically most sharp striker in Whitman's stable, I think you have to look at Thug Rose. I mean, she's so good. And we talked about this fight. How is Weili, going to make things different this time? And both of us agreed that if Weili wanted to win this fight, it had to happen in a phone booth. Yeah. It had to happen in a close range. I believe that Weili is physically stronger than Rose. I believe that Weili is better in the tie clinch than Rose. And I believe that Weili could have had some success there. And we saw some good wrestling. And I think she needs to stay in Arizona. We're going to see the evolvement of her grappling and her comfortability on the ground. I think she showed some signs of real improvement last night, and certainly the fight was a hell of a lot closer than the first one was. Right. So, but I think that when a fight takes place at that kickboxing range in the women's strawweight division, it's always going to favor Rose. Yeah. She just simply has everybody's number on the feet in that division. Yeah,
and she moves so well. Like, I do think that a good wrestler like a Tatiana Suarez would present a lot of trouble for Rose. Yeah. Obviously, Rose would probably be the favorite going into that. But the only other person that I see giving her trouble on the feet as of right now, because she's got Joanna's number, and Joanna is a striking legend, a living legend. She's one of the best. But Rose just has her number. Is Mariana Rodriguez. She's very good. She's very different. She's very fast, and she throws with power. So I think that is a fight I'd love to see in the future. I don't want to see Rose move forward in weight classes and go to 125. There's nothing you need to see.
There's a killer at the top there.
Yeah. You're only getting title fights, and you don't want to lose that. So just claim your stake. You know, it's just like the boxing and the MMA guys always going over to do other sports. You don't need to do that. You also don't need to jump your divisions. If you're the champion in mixed martial arts at 115 pounds, stay there. Yeah. See as long as you can be the king of the hill there.
Look at Khabib's career.
Bouncing around, and then God forbid you bounce around too long, you get injured. Somebody takes that spot from you because inactivity, right?
Right.
So Rose Namajunas needs to stay right where she's at. I believe that's her plan. And she's got the skills to beat everybody. I think there's a couple of girls that are going to present a lot of trouble for her in the future, and those matchups are inevitable. Tatiana Suarez is going to get a title shot soon. Mariana Rodriguez going to get a title shot soon. And I think those are the right two girls. Maybe they'll square off and fight each other. But Weili is obviously still the next best thing as of right now at 115. And it showed when you said she needed to fight a rough, a dirty, ugly fight. That was truly her best chances, and we saw it last night. When she was up against the cage, when she was trying to bully Rose Namajunas, we saw a lot of success, and those were the moments that I think belonged to her. And it was nice to see kind of a smile on her face after the loss, because you lay it all on the line, and you put yourself out there. You leave something in the cage, and it felt like, win, lose, or draw, she did her absolute best, and she was proud of her performance, which she should have been. And I can't say she felt the same after the first one.
Right.
She woke up 30 seconds or a minute after the fight started without, with Dana White taking the belt from her and giving it to Rose.
Right.
So it just didn't feel like that was just right as far as she was concerned. But
you can go home in that situation and say, I got clipped.
Yeah.
You can chalk it up to, man, it was a fluke accident.
Right.
But not with a loss like that.
Yeah, and you gave it all, and you won rounds against Rose Namajunas. So she knows right where she sits is next to the champion at 115. And I think there's a lot of fun matchups for Weili at 115.
Yeah.
So she should stay there.
Yeah, I think so. I think Weili, and I think Carla Esparza is somebody who's going to fight Rose probably sooner rather than later. She's kind of been looming around, and she's going to get her title shot. I do think that the two ladies that you mentioned, Mariana Rodriguez and Tatiana Suarez, when she finally does come back, do present more problems, and both for very different reasons, actually, to Rose than Carla Esparza does. Tatiana, very strong, excellent wrestler. Could, if she gets Rose to the ground, could be a very, very big problem for Rose. Mariana Rodriguez is very good on the feet. I think she boxes just as well as anybody in the division. I don't think her kicks are quite as good as Rose's kicks, but I think her hands are just as good, and she does hit with a lot of power. Carla Esparza is a matchup I think that Rose is very favorable for Rose. I think that's
you know what's so funny about Carla Esparza is, and I'm only thinking this and drawing this comparison because of the recency of it, she's kind of like the Glover Teixeira.
Yeah.
Now, I know she was already the champ and then lost and then kind of had to rebuild herself and come back up. But that's sort of like Glover. He was the biggest, baddest dude at one point, and then he fell down the rankings a little bit, slowly crawled himself back up to the top, and now he's back in a title shot, wins the whole thing. So Carla Esparza could very well be in a Glover Teixeira type of situation.
Yeah, it's been a grind for Carla for sure. And it's going to be interesting to see where Joanna fits into all this, because Joanna has said that she wants to come back only for title fights, but that's not really how it works in a division that's evolving like this. And as much as I love Joanna Champion, I mean, when she was the champ of 115, she was fun to watch. She was like the boogie woman. She was really doing some incredible things and showing striking in women's mixed martial arts to a level that we hadn't seen before until she ran into Thug Rose, of course. And now she was shown to be human and shown that she can be knocked out, which she was by Rose. And that's the other thing about Rose that's so crazy is when you look at her, she's very unassuming looking, and she's a very humble person. She doesn't really like to brag. She always talks about her team and how she barely pulled it through, but she's just thankful to be here. And it's almost like she doesn't realize where she actually sits as far as women's mixed martial arts status goes. But when you look at her, she's not that, imposing of a figure.
Right.
But she delivers with power that has put multiple world champions unconscious, which is more than a lot of men's champions, even at the higher weight classes, can say. Rose has got knockouts over some of the best women we've ever seen step inside that cage, and she does it at a weight class where there's hardly any knocking out going on.
Yeah, she's definitely one of the most powerful strikers. She's not one of the most physically, muscular people, and aesthetically she doesn't look like a beast like some of them, like Weili did.
Yeah.
But she's just got that power, and I think it's the snap. I think it's the speed, the placement, the footwork that helps her get to the right place at the right time. And she's obviously got some sort of power in her punches and her kicks, because she's putting people out. She's holding records doing it. And in my opinion, she's just cemented herself as the strawweight queen. She's the best that's ever done it. She's like Kamaru Usman, her teammate, in some regards, where she's beaten everybody like a couple of times, right?
Yeah.
Joanna's kind of in no man's land now, just like Colby Covington and Jorge Masvidal. They can't get another title shot as long as the current champion is there, and that just happens to be one of Trevor Whitman's pupils.
I'm telling you, he's just setting these people in these positions of championship status, and then they're running through the division 2 times over. So what they're doing up in Colorado is really special. But congrats to Rose, and I'm excited to see Weili's future, because I think if she stays in Arizona with Cejudo in that camp, that she will do very well.
Yeah.
And we could see her become the champ again. She's got all the right skills, and she certainly has the dedication to the sport. But last night belonged to Rose, and like you said, she's the strawweight queen now.
Yeah, hard to say musical chairs is going to happen down there because Rose is so good. But if it does happen, look for Weili to get right back in a title shot. Look for Joanna to get another title shot. All these girls definitely have a place in the division. Rose just sits atop all of them.
That's for sure. Guys, let us know in the comments, what did you think of Rose Namajunas' performance, and is she the best female strawweight that we've ever seen inside the UFC's cage? Nick and I certainly think so. And guys, if you haven't already, a like on this video and a subscribe to the channel helps us out tremendously with the algorithm, so we always appreciate that. And until the next one, have a wonderful day.
Peace.